The Castle by Franz Kafka. Chapter 13. I am your narrator. Hardly was everybody gone when Kay said to the assistants, "Clear out." Disconcerted by the unexpectedness of the command, they obeyed. But when Kay locked the door behind them, they tried to get in again, whimpered outside and knocked on the door. "You are dismissed," cried Kay. "Never again will I take you into my service." But that, of course, was just what they did not want, and they kept hammering on the door with their hands and feet. "Let us back to you, sir," they cried, as if they were being swept away by a flood and Kay were dry land. But Kay did not relent. He waited impatiently for the unbearable din to force the teacher to intervene. That soon happened. "Let your confounded assistants in," he shouted. "I've dismissed them," Kay shouted back. It had the incidental effect of showing the teacher what it was to be strong enough not to merely to give notice, but to enforce it. The teacher next tried to soothe the assistants by kindly assurances that they only had to wait quietly and Kay would have to let them in sooner or later. Then he went away. And now things might have settled down if Kay had not begun to shout at them again that they were finally dismissed once and for all, and had not the faintest hope of being taken back. Upon that, they recommenced their din. Once more the teacher entered, but this time he no longer tried to reason with them, but drove them, apparently with his dreaded rod, out of the house. Soon they appeared in front of the windows of the gymnasium, rapped on the panes and cried something, but their words could no longer be distinguished. They did not stay there long either. In the deep snow they could not be as active as their frenzy required. So they flew to the railings of the school garden and sprang onto the stone pediment where, moreover, though only from a distance, they had a better view of the room. There they ran to and fro, holding onto the railings, then remained standing and stretched out their clasped hands beseechingly towards Kay. They went on like this for a long time, without thinking of the uselessness of their efforts. They were as if obsessed. They did not even stop when Kay drew down the window blinds so as to rid himself of the sight of them. In the now darkened room, Kay went over to the parallel bars to look for Frida. On encountering his gaze, she got up, put her hair in order, dried her tears, and began in silence to prepare the coffee. Although she knew of everything, Kay formally announced to her, all the same, that he had dismissed the assistants. She merely nodded. Kay sat down at one of the desks and followed her tired movements. It had been her unfailing liveliness and decision that had given her insignificant physique its beauty. Now that beauty was gone. A few days of living with Kay had been enough to achieve this. Her work in the tap room had not been light, but apparently it had been more suited to her. Or was her separation from Clam the real cause of her falling away? It was the nearness of Clam that had made her so irrationally seductive. That was the seduction which had drawn Kay to her, and now she was withering in his arms. "Frida," said Kay. She put away the coffee mill at once and went over to Kay at his desk. "You're angry with me?" asked she. "No," replied Kay. "I don't think you can help yourself. You were happy in the Herrenhof. I should have let you stay there." "Yes," said Frida, gazing sadly in front of her. "You should have let me stay there. I'm not good enough for you to live with. If you were rid of me, perhaps you would be able to achieve all that you want. Out of regard for me, you submitted yourself to the tyranny of the teacher, taken on this wretched post, and are doing your utmost to get an interview with Clam. All for me, but I don't give you much in return." "No, no," said Kay, putting his arm around her comfortingly. "All these things are trifles that don't hurt me, and it's not only on your account that I want to get to Clam. And then think of all you've done for me. Before I knew you, I was going about in a blind circle. Nobody took me up, and if I made up to anybody, I was soon sent about my business. And when I was given a chance of a little hospitality, it was with people that I always wanted to run away from, like Barnabas's family." "You wanted to run away from them? You did? Darling," cried Frida eagerly, and after a hesitating "yes" from Kay, sank back once more into her apathy. But Kay had no longer resolution enough to explain in what way everything had changed for the better for him through his connection with Frida. He slowly took away his arm, and they sat for a little in silence, until, as if his arm had given her warmth and comfort, which now she could not do without, Frida said, "I won't be able to stand this life here. If you want to keep me with you, we'll have to go away somewhere or other, to the south of France or to Spain." "I can't go away," replied Kay. "I came here to stay. I'll stay here." And giving utterance to a self-contradiction which he made no effort to explain, he added as if to himself, "What could have enticed me to this desolate country except the wish to stay here?" Then he went on, "But you want to stay here too. After all, it's your own country. Only you miss Clam, and that gives you desperate ideas." "I miss Clam?" said Frida. I've all I want of clam here, too much clam. It's to escape from him that I want to go away. It's not clam that I miss, it's you. I want to go away for your sake, because I can't get enough of you, here where everything distracts me. I would gladly lose my pretty looks. I would gladly be sick and ailing if I could be left in peace with you. Kay had only paid attention to one thing. Then Clam is still in communication with you? He asked eagerly. He sends for you? I know nothing about Clam, replied Frida. I was speaking just now of others. I mean the assistants. Oh, the assistants, said Kay in disappointment. Do they persecute you? Why, have you never noticed it? Asked Frida. No, replied Kay, trying in vain to remember anything. They're certainly importunate and lascivious young fellows, but I hadn't noticed that they had dared to lift their eyes to you. No? Said Frida. Did you never notice that they simply weren't to be driven out of our room in the Bridge Inn? That they jealously watched all our movements? That one of them finished up by taking my place on that sack of straw? That they gave evidence against you a minute ago so as to drive you out of this and ruin you, and so as to be left alone with me? You've never noticed all that? Kay gazed at Frida without replying. Her accusations against the assistants were true enough, but all the same they could be interpreted far more innocently as simple effects of the ludicrously childish, irresponsible, and undisciplined characters of the two. And didn't it also speak against their guilt that they had always done their best to go with Kay everywhere and not to be left with Frida? Kay half suggested this. It's their deceit, said Frida. Have you never seen through it? Well, why have you driven them away, if not for those reasons? And she went to the window, drew the blind aside a little, glanced out, and then called Kay over. The assistants were still clinging to the railings, tired as they must have been by now. They still gathered their strength together every now and then and stretched their arms out beseechingly towards the school, so as not to have to hold on all the time. One of them had hooked himself onto the railings behind by the tail of his coat.